Hi, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us for the next sort of installment of this. I'm here today with Peter from Apickle, and we're going to be talking, a little bit about what we're seeing in the market, obviously with a bent towards ATO debt, and looking at really that importance of funding and brokers and that sort of thing in terms of what we do. So, Peter, welcome, mate, and it's good to have you on board.
Thank you, mate. It's a pleasure to be here. Typically, we're having
Yeah,
a wine and a red, so it's a different environment for us. So I appreciate it.
yeah. Yes. Um, Peter, we obviously we work with you and we know exactly who sort of a pickle is, but maybe for those that don't, if you could maybe give us a bit of a rundown of and what you guys do.
Well, the pickle has simplified support for SMEs facing tough times via our intuitive platform. We effectively are a digital broker platform that streamlines debt refinancing, that automates the workflows and creates a favourable LVR. We even deliver great results for our lender partners. So it just makes a pickle a vital lifeline for a lot of SMEs facing tough times.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And I guess the other thing I'd ask too is that, the sort of funding slash broker market is quite a saturated market and where you sort of see yourselves as sort of sitting within that and how you differentiate yourself. And so if somebody was watching this and said, well, when would I go to a pickle? What would you say to that?
Well, it's typically when those matters are just outside of the LVR space. So, and you and I sort of talk about this on a regular basis, where our typical LVR is 120% of the value of the asset. So we've essentially got to negotiate from 120% to what the actual borrowed amount would be. So where we differentiate ourselves as a digital mortgage broker platform that streamlines debt refinancing, that creates a favourable LVR, a lot of our mortgage broker customers and partners that come to us is simply that. They've looked at a matter, multiple caveators that are lodged against the property, unsecured creditors, ATO debt, super hasn't been paid out, BASs are not up to date. So effectively, we've not only got to look at our platform and see which lender can take it on, but can we debt negotiate with those caveators, get them released on settlement to create a favourable LVR so it can be funded, and eventually the commercial brokers that we work with, it's a reciprocal relationship. It goes back to those partners and now they can do the refinance. So it starts off as a restructure and then it ends up being a refinance, and that's where we differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. And it's funny, and that's why it works really closely with what we do, because obviously we're just specialised and focused on the ATO piece, but we often have the same issue whereby we've got to get something across the line with the ATO, and sometimes we're having to negotiate with the ATO around, and for you it's an LVR, and you're bringing the debt down and negotiating that, and we're doing the same thing with the ATO so that the deal actually works.
Yeah, and that's what we love working with you guys, because we might be debt negotiating with the caveators and trying to pay it outstanding super and things like that. However, an effective turnaround strategy is a collective effort. One, we need to be able to identify the lenders that will actually take on that particular client, because let's face it, more than likely they're going to be trading insolvently. There's outstanding tax contributions. So if we can debt negotiate with the caveators, that's fine. That's what we can do. What we can't do is the ATO piece. So working alongside yourself is great, because that becomes a cohesive and a holistic approach in a turnaround strategy. Because the word turnaround gets thrown around a lot. However, what is an effective turnaround strategy? It's proving that we've removed the caveators and generated organic cash flow. Interest and penalties from the ATO component is obviously being removed from your end, and that is generating organic cash flow for the business. And that's what the federal government wants at the end of the day. They don't want businesses to go into liquidation. They want businesses to survive and move forward.
Yeah, brilliant. And that's one of the things again, we love with working with you guys is we're on the same page. We're trying to actually keep businesses out of the insolvency route. And, there are a percentage of probably about 5% of the businesses that we see need to go through that route, but 95% don't. And that's having those right sort of levers to pull and the right people to pull in when, particularly for us, if there's stuff that's beyond the ATO that needs some sort of address. Or the other thing too is I've just finished speaking to a whole bunch of broker groups around the issue and what's going on with the ATO. And one of the things that we're absolutely seeing is that, and there's been a lot in the press around how much ATO debt's out there, and it's gone from $26 billion prior to COVID and the bushfires and floods and everything we've had to, we're officially over 50 billion, but we believe it's certainly north of $60 billion because there's another 12 months on the official figures that we have. Plus, it doesn't include all the debt that the ATO don't know about yet because it hasn't been lodged. And one of the things that we're seeing is not only are there more businesses with debt, but on top of that, the average debt size that we are seeing, and we've got businesses and individuals that are sort of anywhere from $50,000-$60,000 to in the multi-million dollars in terms of ATO debt, but our average debt prior to all of this happening was around that $400,000 mark, and we're just bumping up against our average debts around $1 million. Now, our I guess our the businesses that we deal with and our sort of client market hasn't really changed that much. What has changed though is the debt size, and businesses that previously might be able to actually repay the debt out of cash flow, which has been our original and our normal go-to. A lot of those businesses can't now, and they need to get funding in. They also need, and this is where people like yourself come in, because we just can't solve it without funding. But on top of that, it also means we really need to negotiate hard with the ATO to try and bring the debt down by getting those interest and penalties removed, so that at the end of it, you've got a deal that the ATO can approve, and we can get the business back into business.